Hey everyone, good to see you. Listen, today's lesson is going to be on distributive property. Let's go ahead and write that, what that looks like. Distributive property. Underline it, and we should be in our math notebooks. And I'm going to start with a problem that they did in mid-school math. There was this guy, he was a mastermind, and we said that we're adding up the fees for a concert. And the concert was 5 days long, and the expenses were really high. And so we say 5 days, and let's say they were $32,000. So these concert expenses over 5 days, and he just does it in his head, and he goes, oh, that would be $160,000. You remember that? It's like, well, wait, how did he do that in his head? And this is what we're going to see today, how we're doing this. And what he's doing is he's breaking this up, and we're going to write this with parentheses, and this is what's called distributive property. I'm going to put a parenthesis here. And you remember what math symbol is between a number and a parenthesis? It's a multiplication, right? So I'm thinking, and I'm going to use green because green's always going to be invisible for me. It's not really there, but we know that this is multiplication, right? And he's going to break that 32,000 into 30 plus 2. 30,000 plus 2,000 is 32,000. And so what's cool about this is now I can do simple problems and put them together. And so what he did in his head, he's going, well, what's 5 times 3? And I'm thinking 5, 10, 15. Oh, that's just 15, right? But these are tens, so this actually lands up being $150,000. And the reason he did his head, he's just multiplying 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 30 is 150. And then he also has this, and that's where the distributive property comes. He's just adding 152. And he's going, well, what's 5 times 2,000? And we find that that's 10,000. And so I've got this. And that's why he says, oh, well, that's easy looking at this, right? He goes, that's just $160,000. So the answer is $160,000. And let's remember, too, what does 160,000 look like? The real answer is this, $160,000. So now I want to show one more example, and then we're going to try some on our own and see how we do. We're going to do this same concept that we did in here, but with an equation. So let me go down and I'm going to zoom. Let's keep that up so you can write that. I'm going to give an equation that looks like this. Instead of 5 days, I got 2 days, and I got this parenthesis, right? With this invisible, what goes in there? Yeah, multiplication. And we're going to multiply it times a c plus a 3. And the reason I'm doing this is because, it doesn't look like multiplying, because I don't know what that number is, so I have a variable. That's what it is in solving equations. And I'm going to say on the other side, I've got a c and an 8. So here's the distributive property part. And see if you could think the same way that we did up here. This c now means that I've got 2 of them. I've got the c and the 3 2 times. So this becomes 2c. And this becomes 2 times 3, or 6. And on the other side, and this is just my first part of solving this equation, I've got a c and an 8. Now the last step I want in this is I want this drawn. And we're going to end here without actually solving it, because we're focusing on distributive property. I'm going to draw a picture of this as to what actually do I have. This is 2 c's. So I'm going to draw my variable with a triangle. this is a 6. I'm going to put my numbers in a cube. We're going to do a lot of this. And on the other side, there's an invisible number on there. And I wonder if you know what it is, right? There's a number in front of that C. It tells me how many we have. But in math, it's confusing because it's invisible. So I'm going to draw it with you in green because it's invisible. That's 1C. So I'm going to draw this. It means I have 1C and an 8. That's the entrance into this problem. So let's take a practice on a couple doing this, and we'll see how you do.